Retention and reacquisition of Filipino citizenship application or dual citizenship application in Chicago, Philippine Consulate General. Under Philippine Republic Act 9225, known as Citizenship Retention and Reacquisition Act of 2003, natural-born Filipinos who were naturalized in foreign countries could reacquire or retain their Filipino citizenship after going through the steps or procedures provided under the law. Effective September 7 of 2020, a new procedure of the submission of dual citizenship in Chicago, Philippine Consulate General was implemented. New procedures or steps for dual citizenship application in Chicago, Philippine Consulate General. Step number 1. Fill out the application form. Number 2. Check the list of requirements. Number 3. Send application form and documents via email at dualcitizenship.chicagopcg@gmail.com. Number 4. Payment. Number 5 is oath taking. Reminders. Due to health protocols along with the high demands, there are only limited slots. Thus, the Chicago Philippine Consulate General prioritizes applicants who are within its jurisdictions as follows: State of Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. Do not send the documents by mail. Please check their website at www.chicagopcg.com for the latest travel restrictions or advisories if you plan traveling to the Philippines. Step 1. Fill out the application form. Download and/or print the form titled Application for Retention or Reacquisition of Philippine Citizenship as shown on the illustration below. Make sure that the application form is completely filled out. For married women that uses spouse's last name, please make sure that on item number 1 is your birth name, as shown on your Philippine birth certificate. Item number 2 is your married name. 2 pieces 2x2 colored photograph with plain white background taken within the last 6 months. No eyeglasses and must clearly show the full front view of the face. Must be printed in appropriate photo paper. Printed in plain paper is not acceptable. If you have minors, 17 years old and below, to be included in your application, make sure to write their information on page 2 of the form and attach the required photograph, same requirement with the applicant. The minor or minors may only be included in the application of one parent only. Applicants must affix their signatures on both pages of the application form. Page 1 on item number 24 and page 2 at the bottom part. No need to notarize the application form. Hi guys, good evening. Filipino Journey here in USA Vlog, and today I'm going to share with you on how to fill out the application for retention or reacquisition of Philippine citizenship. So the form, I downloaded it from their website. It is available on the Chicago Philippine Consulate General website. Only 2 pages, so it's very easy, straightforward questions. So make sure to go through all of the line item, and if it is not applicable to you, put NA, and then make sure that you won't miss the signature on page 1 and page 2. All right, so let's begin. So on this page 1, you can see I tape my colored photograph on the first and the left and the right. So while this is a scanned copy, so it won't show us colored, but it has to be a colored 2x2 photograph with the original application. Okay, so item number 1, this is very important. Name as written on Philippine birth certificate or report of birth. So this is your name that is showing on your Philippine birth certificate. So you have to put your last name here in item number 1A, and then your first name on item number 1B. 1C is your middle name. And make sure to pay attention to item number 2 because the question is, are you using a different name? So this pertains to you if ever you use a different name when you got married, if you decided to use your spouse's last name, which is for my case, I use my husband's last name. So my last name now changed. So this is the one that showed on our marriage certificate. So I put the last name here, the last name of my husband, and then my first name, and then my middle name, which was my last name when I was single. So last name of my husband, my first name, and my middle name that is showing on my marriage certificate. And then supporting documents for change of name, you have options like marriage certificate, social security card, driver's license. Make sure for if you have a supporting documents for change of name using the social security card, make sure to block your number. Only show the name because that's all they need. Don't ever display your number of the social security card. All right. And then on number 3 is your date of birth. And then item number 4 is your place of birth in the Philippines. And then number 5 is your gender, whether if you're a male or a female, your civil status for item number 6, excuse me, which is for my case, I got married. And then 7 is your height in meters, and then your weight in kilograms in item number 8. In line 9A is the name of your spouse. So for my case, I put the full name of my husband, which start with the last name, first name, and full middle name, and then his citizenship at the time of my application. So that is on 9B since my husband is a US citizen. So I put in here. And then in number 10A is the name of applicant's father, your dad. So put your last name, first name, and full middle name, and then his citizenship at the time of your birth, you as the applicant. So when you were born, what is the citizenship of your dad? And then in number 11A is the name of applicant's mother. So this is your mother's name, the same sequence, last name, first name, and full middle name, and then the citizenship of your mom at the time of your birth. So they were both Filipino citizens. So that is number 10 and 11, 10B and 11B. And number 12 is a question about how Philippine citizenship was initially acquired. So I acquired my Philippine citizenship by birth. So I check the box here. Whatever applies to you, so check the box option. And then in number 13 is the applicant's current foreign citizenship. So currently, I am a naturalized US citizen. So I indicated here as US citizen. And then how I acquire my US citizenship. So I acquired it through naturalization. And then in number 15A is the passport number of your US passport. So put in here. And 15B is the date and place of issuance. So you have to indicate the date from the day, the month, and the year, and don't forget the place of issuance. And on number 16 is the supporting documents submitted. So I check marked my birth certificate, my old Philippine passport, my naturalization certificate. I included my baptismal certificate because my birth certificate is blurry, so I have it as a supporting documentation. and then my marriage certificate and any others that you included as a supporting documents. So I included my driver's license ID. In number 17 is the Philippine permanent address. So what is your address in the Philippines, where you live? And then in number 18 is the address in US, your current address in USA, complete address, the house number, street, town, or city, state, country, and the postal zone. And then in number 19 is your home telephone number, which is not applicable to me. So proceed to number 20, the email address, your mobile number in 21, and then your present job in number 22, and the address of your present occupation or your job in number 23. And then don't forget in number 24 to affix your signature. This is very important. There are two signatures of this application, page 1 and page 2. So this is where you have to put your signature. It is in item number 24. And then the color of eyes, color of hair, and any distinguishing marks on face if applicable. And that's basically it in page 1. It's very straightforward, easy. Make sure to review once you filled it out, double check, make sure everything is right. And then in page 2, this is usually about if you have a child or children when you apply. So in my case, I don't have a child, so I put NA. But if you do, please follow the instructions here. It's very straightforward information. Fill out those carefully and completely. So it's the same colored photograph requirement, but this pertains to your child. And then at the very bottom part under certification, you have to put the date of application and then your printed name and signature. So these two is important here. And when you see in the very bottom part, the notary public, don't worry about it. It's not a requirement. Make sure to have the date of application and your signature with your printed name. That's it. But as to the notary public, I asked them and they said it's not a requirement, and it's also indicated on the list of requirements and information that they're going to send you that there is no need for a notary public of this application. Make sure you completely filled it out, double check, and prepare your supporting documents, scan it, save it as a PDF file in one single file, one email, and then send it to their email address. And you're good to go. So for the time frame, I submitted my application June 30, and I got it before a month. So let's just say 3 weeks or so. So it wasn't really that bad. So it's very easy process, guys, less frustrating. Just make sure that during the oath taking ceremony, you have to bring all the original documents that they ask for you, because even a single one lacking, they won't accommodate you. You can't have your oath taking, and you have to reapply or go back, I guess, when your documents are complete. So that means you have to reapply. So yeah, that's it. Completely filled out your application and then you are good to go. Step 2. Prepare and complete the checklist of requirements. Number 1. Application form completely filled out with attached photograph. Number 2, Philippine birth certificate issued by Philippine Statistics Authority, or formerly known as NSO or National Statistics Office. Number 3 is your marriage certificate. If married in the Philippines, it must be issued by the PSA or NSO. If married in USA, it must be issued by the US government authority. Number 4, for divorced or annulled, widowed applicants copies of the following documents, whichever is applicable. A. Marriage certificate and divorce decree. B. Annotated marriage certificate and annulment decree from PSA. C. Marriage certificate and death certificate of the spouse. Whichever of the three is applicable to your case. Number 5 is your U.S. naturalization certificate. Number 6 is the biodata page of your U.S. passport. Number 7, biodata page of Philippine passport. Number 8, if the applicant is a registered alien with the Bureau of Immigration, ACR, and ICR or CRTV. Additional requirements that may needed: supporting documentations for change of name, for example, social security card or marriage certificate or state ID, etc., whatever you have available. Additional requirements for minors, 17 years old and below. Number 1, child's birth certificate. Number 2, child's U.S. naturalization certificate if applicable. Number 3, biodata page of U.S. passport if applicable. Number 4, biodata page of Philippine passport if applicable. Number 5, U.S. naturalization certificate of the spouse of primary applicant if former Filipino, or birth certificate if spouse is a U.S. citizen. The documents must be in PDF format and to be submitted via email only to the Dual Citizenship section for initial assessment at dualcitizenship.chicagopcg@gmail.com. Step 3. Send the application form and documents via email. Send your application form and documents by email at dualcitizenship.chicagopcg@gmail.com. The duly accomplished application form, page 1 and 2, and supporting documents must be attached in one email as PDF format for faster or immediate assessment. Do not send in multiple emails. Now, for the case of more than one adult applicant, send your applications separately by email. Do not send multiple applications in one email. Refrain from sending unnecessary documentation. Only send documents that were listed in the checklist of requirements. Here's a preview of my email for my dual citizenship application that was sent last June 30 of 2021, along with the required documentations. Step 4. Payment. A conditional approval will be granted to those with complete requirements. The applicant will be notified via email on how to submit the payment along with the date of the oath-taking schedule at the Chicago Philippine Consulate General. The final approval will be determined on the appointment date and upon presentation of the complete original documents at the consulate on the day of the oath-taking schedule. Submit the payment along the required documents stated in the email notification that you receive. Please send the following to the consulate by mail in order for them to prepare the certificate for dual citizenship. Payment fee. It must be in cash or money order. The money order must be issued to the Philippine Consulate General. They don't accept personal checks. The payment fee is $50 for primary applicant and $25 per minor applicant. The next requirement is the duly accomplished application form, the original with the attached colored photograph. Number 3, 2 photocopies each of the following documents in letter size 8 by 11 inches. Do not mail the original documents on the following below: birth certificate from PSA, formerly NSO, marriage certificate, U.S. naturalization certificate, U.S. passport biodata page, Philippine passport data page if applicable. So 2 photocopies each of these 5 documents. Along with the payment and the documentations, enclose a copy of the first page of the email notification that you received from the consulate, sample shown on the right side. Once all the requirements are ready and complete along with the payment, use a USPS envelope with a tracking number to check that the consulate received your packet, because the consulate will no longer send you an email notification if the mail has been received. Mail the packet to this address below: Philippine Consulate General, 122 S. Michigan Avenue, Suite 1600, Chicago, Illinois 60603. Step 5, the last step of the process, is the oath taking. Number 1, what to bring on the day of oath taking. Bring all the original copies of the following documents: birth certificate from PSA or NSO, marriage certificate, U.S. naturalization certificate, U.S. passport, Philippine passport if applicable. Number 2, what happens if you don't have all the original documents on hand during the oath taking? The Chicago Philippine Consulate will only accept applicants with complete requirements. If you lack even a single original document, you won't be allowed to take the oath taking and your application will be canceled. No refund. You have to reapply in the future once you have the complete requirements. Number 3, What happens if you can't attend the scheduled oath-taking? Notify the consulate immediately via email before the deadline or before your appointment. The consulate will automatically cancel your application if you will not attend the oath-taking and forfeit the payment. No-show applicants will have to resubmit the application and pay for the appropriate fees. The Chicago consulate will not accommodate requests for reschedule to those who will not attend their appointment. Number 4. What to wear during the oath-taking ceremony. It is highly recommended to wear a decent attire. Walking shorts, spaghetti straps, flip-flops, miniskirts are not allowed in the consulate premises. Reminder, during the oath-taking, please be in the consulate office 45 to 50 minutes prior to the oath-taking time scheduled for the signing of certificate. Must check in with the building security 5 minutes before your scheduled time for the signing of the certificate, which is about 45 minutes prior to your oath-taking ceremony.